What's going on, everybody? Norris here, back with another video, another elevator music. Hope everyone is doing alright. Today we're gonna be doing a album review. This one on the rapper Drake and 21 Savage on the album Her Loss, an album that was released last year, November 4th. A few things I gotta say about this album. I found this album pretty interesting. It's cool to see Drake still releasing albums like this. He's been through a lot throughout his career, starting off with like the acting with like Degrassi and all that, all the way up until this point. He's put out a whole lot of projects, a whole lot of music, worked with a lot of artists. He really stamped himself as one of the greatest rappers, not just in like our generation right now as we speak, one of the greatest rappers of all time, Canadian or American. You could almost consider him a pop star, but like still a rapper, even though he does a lot of singing, still a rapper. And 21 Savage, a rapper that I think came from the UK, grew up in the States. 21 Savage, a lot of you guys know who that is. Pretty famous rapper right now. Not as big as Drake. Ever since they released that collaboration album, he might actually be just as famous as Drake now. I'm gonna go through how I feel about every track. The album was done really well. The first thing I'm gonna say before I start off with the first track, 21 Savage was a good feature to have, or sorry, a good collaboration for Drake to have on this album. His style complements what Drake brings to the table very well. They have very different styles. When you compare the two rapping styles, I feel like Drake kind of takes more of like a musical approach to like how he puts his songs together, while 21 Savage is more of a street guy, so he kind of brings that type of energy to a song, coming with more of like a gangsta style on a song. Drake, he brings more of like a musical approach to it, where he has like the singing and the rapping at the same time, and he's more of like a musician with it when it comes to like songwriting. The two styles mesh pretty well with each other just because they're so different. I'll talk more about it while I go through the track listing. The first song, Rich Flex, this is a song that got a whole lot of popularity just because of like the 21, can you do something for me, like that one part, you know what I mean? It seemed kind of sketchy the way Drake, the way he sings the lyric, a little like it made it kind of funny. The way I feel about this song, like I feel like the beat's done really well. I feel the same way with the rest of the beats throughout the album. I feel like the production on this album is done at a really high level, especially the first song, Rich Flex. On the first song, you can really see what I'm talking about when it comes to like the chemistry between Drake and 21 Savage. Their styles are very different. Whenever two rappers collaborate on a song or an album, when their styles are very different from each other, it comes out better. It makes the song sound better. It makes their styles together sound better as a whole when both rappers have like completely different styles. And I feel like that's the case with 21 Savage and Drake, and they show that a lot on the first song, Rich Flex. So the next song, Major Distribution, I feel like this might be the worst song on the whole album. It's this song and the third song, On BS. So I guess I'll talk about both songs at the same time, just because both of these songs are the most similar to each other. They're both the worst songs overall in the whole album. Maybe the singing part in the beginning might be the best part of the song. Just the beat is just too simple for me. The songwriting was a little bit lazy, especially coming from Drake. He's usually not lazy when it comes to songwriting. It's the worst song in terms of like the beat, the meaning of the song, and like just how the songs are, just how the lyrics are written overall. It could have been done better. Same with On BS. It's a similar feeling. The way I feel about Major Distribution, I feel the same way on with On BS. I feel like the songwriting isn't the strongest, especially compared to the rest of the album. In terms of like the beat and the songwriting, I feel like the album slowly gets better towards the end. Moving on to BackOutsideBoys after the second song and the third song from major distribution and on BS. I feel like the beats slowly get better throughout the album, starting with this song, BackOutsideBoys, and I like the bars that Drake comes with, the ad-libs. It's like a kind of like a cool, fresh sounding song that Drake doesn't really usually go with. Usually he goes with like a different style. He switches his style pretty often. I feel like this is a very fresh sounding style that he goes with this song, and I like the ad-libs. It makes the style of the song sound even more fresh, the way he like works his ad-libs on this song. Privileged Rappers, I feel like this is the best song on the album, not by far, because there's a lot of songs that I enjoy listening to on this album, but I personally feel like this is the best song on a beat standpoint and on a meaning standpoint. Just the overall meaning of the song on this one, I really enjoy. I feel like it's a very strong meaning, very strong songwriting skills on this one. The sample is pretty clean, and I just like the beat overall. Very well put together song. Bout U, the 6th track on the album, just a real life take on like how they treat females in their lives. It's just their honest real life take on like how they feel. It's a song done well when it comes to like taking that topic and turning it into a song. The next song, Hours in Silence, more singing from Drake, which I don't mind because I think Drake's a great singer, especially for being like a rapper. The type of rapper that he is, the level of talent that he has as a rapper, I think he's a good singer. On top of that, I don't mind hearing singing from Drake just because of how good of a singer I feel Drake is. The writing skills is pretty decent from this one. Treacherous Twins, this song is more average compared to like the other songs on the album. I feel like it's a little more on the average side. Fresh sound though, fresh flow, beats are right. The singing kind of makes the song a little bit boring, so I'll say that much. The next song, Circo Loco, they took a Daft Punk song, I think it's a One More Time song, and then just flipped it into a popish sounding song, something that Drake doesn't really like. I guess he does it more often nowadays, something that he didn't really do too much back in the day, where he would just kind of like put out hip-hop songs, straight up rap songs. Very popish sounding song. That's the only thing I'll say about it. I think it's cool that they sampled Daft Punk and they flipped the One More Time song, but it's a little too popish for me. The next song, Pussy in Millions, featuring Travis Scott. Another cool feature, having Travis Scott on the album. Whenever Drake features Travis Scott, I always think that's a good idea, because when it comes to like their styles, I feel like their styles meshes well with each other, and I like the meaning behind the song, especially compared to the other songs that they have on the album. Broke Boys, great 808 beat, and I like how they switch the beat up closer towards like the mid part of the song. 21 Savage, I think it's 21 Savage's best moment on this album. His bars and his lyrics are the hardest on this song compared to the rest of the album. Middle of the Ocean, the beat sort of sounds like The Alchemist made the beat style sort of similar to like what The Alchemist does on his tracks. Very old school sounded Drake flow. I feel like the flow and the style Drake comes with is something that you would hear from him in his past styles and his past beats that he's made. Jumbotron shit, Poppin. This is a song that he has a music video for this song. Fresh flow. The flow I've heard from other rappers before, not really from Drake. More M's, another hard beat. Beats like this on More M's, when a beat is made like this, it's made perfect for a rapper like 21 Savage. Even though Drake can switch his style up, make a verse that sounds perfect with a beat like this, but I think 21 Savage is naturally perfect for beats like this, and Drake does a good job at switching his style up to blend into a beat like this. The track 3 AM at Glenwood, 21 Savage did a really good job at taking Drake's style and Drake's flow, kind of like emulating it with his personal views and his personal knowledge about like what he's seen in his past, and on like a street point of view. When we're talking about the streets, 21 Savage does a really good job at taking his knowledge, putting it in his perspective, putting it into lyrics, but in lyrics that Drake fans would kind of like see. I feel like 21 Savage is trying to rap like Drake, and And Drake was almost like, I want you to, in your perspective of how I sound to you, I want you to rap the way I would rap on this beat. And then 21 Savage, he sort of like studied the way Drake raps. He kind of took his style, meshed it with the way he would write a song, with his street point of view and everything he grew up seeing and observing in the streets, taking all that knowledge and basically translating it through the way Drake would rap. That's why when you listen to the song, he sounds exactly like Drake. A cool idea to use for a track has ever tried to do that on a song. 21 and Drake, they did a really good job at it with this song here. And the last track, I guess it's Fuck Me. A cool song to finish off the album, because I feel like with this song here, it's on like a songwriting point of view, it's completely different from how they wrote the music throughout the album. Listening to the first track all the way to the 15th track, the main message throughout the album is to kind of like show everybody that Drake, he's made a lot of money off of his music, he's very wealthy, he's very rich, and he's at a point of his career where he's just like, he doesn't really need to make any more music. He's set for life. The millions of dollars that he's made, he can just live off of it. He doesn't really need to make music anymore. He's basically just made it. The true message behind all the songs that they've recorded throughout the album, that's the true message and the true meaning behind the song, behind the album. And I feel like the last song is a complete opposite of like the full message behind the song. On this song specifically, and he's using singing as like the main tool to express those emotions and like that meaning behind the song, it's a complete opposite of the main message behind the album. And basically just kind of giving a real take, an honest take of where he's at emotionally and how he feels. That's what I got from the last track. Every song being about money the entire time, and then the last song kind of giving like a heartfelt. Yeah, that's the album. A lot of things about the album. The album was done really well. 21 Savage is the perfect rapper to collaborate with this album, giving a fresh sound with the two together on the album. Most of the beats on this album were done really well. The only thing I have to say about the album is like a lot of money was used to put the album together. And you can hear that. You can hear how much money was put down to put together the album. A lot of expensive equipment was used to make the beats, to make the album the way it sounds. Saying that, on a songwriting standpoint, the album was put together very like lazy. When it came to like the songwriting and the messages behind every song, it was done in a very lazy fashion. Drake probably looked at it like this, like, no matter what I put out, the return is going to be massive, just because of the weight that Drake's name brings. And 21 Savage, they can make the album any way they wanted to, and they're gonna get a decent return from it based off of the budget that was used to make the album. So that was my only thing. It's hard to critique an album like this when like they're not taking the messages seriously throughout the album, right? And that's like every song, with an exception of like maybe 4 or 5 songs. The message behind the song itself is very strong, but every other song very just popish and kind of like a money grabber type of style. So that's the only thing I feel about the album, and what made me give the rating that I give it, because I give it an 80 out of 100. I feel like they could have done a little bit of a better job at making the messages stronger, especially being like rappers in like their mid-30s and like who they are. 21 Savage and Drake, like what they represent, the way the album was put together, like instrumentally, the way Drake and 21 Savage's vocals were mastered, and just the way the album was put together. That's what made the rating really high after like observing all of that, you know. Great album. Drake has better albums. He's done a lot better, and I've heard better from 21 Savage. I think 21 Savage did a really good job on this album. Nice album to just listen to, you know. It's not going to be too memorable compared to like what Drake's done in the past, but good album to listen to if you're like getting ready to like go to the club or something like that. Something to throw on. 80 out of 100. Her Loss, 21 Savage and Drake. Decent album, you know. I enjoyed it. Really good production. I really enjoyed the beats. That's the album review for today. Her Loss, 21 Savage, Drake. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. I got a brand new song coming out, Defensive Player of the Year, brand new song, a brand new single that I'm coming out with this Sunday. Not today, but like the next Sunday coming up, June 4th, 4 o'clock in the morning. You'll see it on all platforms. I'm also working on an album, The End of Fun Days. That's set for July, mid-July. 10-track album, more videos to come, more album reviews, more music videos, more music in general. I'm Looper Norris. Hope you guys enjoyed this album review. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves. Peace.